Chelsea Liverpool, match postponed. Man United Leeds, match postponed. Brighton Crystal Palace, match postponed. Top 4 FPL, not postponed. Yes.
Hello and welcome to Top 4 FPL. Obviously, due to unforeseen circumstances, the matches have been cancelled, but that doesn't mean all the matches have been cancelled. And there is a lot going on in the Premier League, so here we are to talk about it. Yes, let's go. Rock and roll. What are you saying?
Yeah, unfortunately, as a result of Her Royal Highness passing away, obviously the Fantasy League games were also postponed as a result of the Premier League games being postponed. And we have 3 more games postponed this week and 7 games going ahead. So I think we've picked our teams for this week. Before we want to have a look at them, does anybody want to say anything about what's been going on in the football world? Sparky?
Well, for me, the one obviously that struck me the most was Tuchel getting sacked. That was a eyebrow raiser. I think Chelsea haven't been a force in the last 5 years or so, and he got them a Champions League, and no one does that. Who gets a Champions League? Certainly not Tottenham, certainly not Man City, certainly not Arsenal, but Tuchel got sacked. I'm gobsmacked, I think. But yeah, good luck to Graham Potter. He's got a tough job on his hands.
Yeah, that was shocking news after he was sacked off.
Well, nothing's shocking in the modern game. In the modern game, you don't last 2 minutes. You've got to be winning every game, especially in a club like Chelsea. You're allowed to lose 1, lose 2. If you go 3, 4 or something like that, they're talking about sacking you already.
No, after you've won the Champions League, you've won the Club World Cup, you've become world champions. Yeah, that was a shock. And it was sad because Thomas Tuchel actually has got a Twitter account and he hadn't tweeted for, I think, 2 years. And he tweeted this week saying how upset he was at being sacked, and it was such a human thing. Yeah, so if you can see the tweet right there, what he wrote, and it was just reading it. It's like no matter what club you're a fan of, I'm even Spurs, I'm assuming, who hate Chelsea and some of the other London clubs and Leeds, would have been touched by that. I was, but yeah, it would have been interesting to see what Graham Potter does.
He was a nice guy. He was a nice guy, but unfortunately, the Premier League cut business, especially in the modern age. Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so with the 7 games going ahead this week, shall we have a look at your team first, Bunny?
How about we look at the team league positions at the moment before we go to my team?
Okay, let's do that.
No, let's not.
Have a recap of where we are.
New player. Where did he come
entries, from? Yeah, every week someone seems to enter in the number 1 position. Guys, I told you last week, you're not allowed to enter if you have more points than us.
He's joking. He's joking.
He is joking.
No.
You are all welcome.
It's like last week I had the green arrow. Now I've got a red arrow. It's like without anything even happening. It's like I'm.
Well, congratulations to Augustine with Everwood FC, 410 points. That's a decent score for quite a few weeks, actually. Let's have a look at
1 week.
Augustine's team.
Welcome to the league, Augustine. Welcome, Augustine.
Those who think that the Americans don't know anything about soccer, they're mistaken, because Augustine is just kicking our butts, man. Already after 8.
Go on, Augustine.
Well, in the previous game week, a number of decent points from Rashford, Tony, Haaland was made captain, unsurprisingly. He's got Shah, who a number of you had. I think you had him, Van Duzel, when you substituted him.
It was one of my the players that are on my watch list was Fabian Schär. Yeah. But it's between him and Trippier, because you've got 2 free kick takers in the Newcastle defense, and one is Fabian Schär and the other one is Kieran Trippier. So Fabian Schär is the cheaper one, so he's like kind of a better bargain buy, but Trippier is also a good buy, and he's a little more expensive. Yeah. He was the 5 million bracket.
Well, Augustine's in the top 80,000 overall, so
wow,
very well done. If we
very good.
Yes,
We'll catch up to
Augustine.
Augustine in this
We've
league.
got our work cut out, Augustine.
And
Yes.
Quebeco, welcome to our league.
Yep, welcome to the league. Everyone is welcome to our league. If you follow the league, you can also join our league, Top 4 FPL. It's the best league in the nation, in the universe, on the planet.
Ivan's dropped down to second with the entry of Augustine, and Adam's dropped down to third. But let's have a look at Team Oscar, who shot up the league before the games were postponed last week.
Yeah, Oscar's had a couple of good game weeks, so it's never over until it's over. You can get a good score on fantasy football 1 week, and you might be like in the clouds, but the following week you'll get such a bad score that it will level you up with the rest of the playing field. So, it's never over till it's over.
So you haven't signed Diego Costa this game week?
Only just begun.
Well, this isn't. Oh, yes, I haven't bought Diego Costa. No, I like my strike force. I don't want Diego Costa.
Have you brought in Bowen this week, or what am I seeing
I
here?
bought him. I
Joelinton and
bought Bowen back in. I bought Bowen back in because West Ham now have a. I'm not going to say easy streak. There's no easy streak of games, but the hardest of games are mostly gone. So they're going to have some good games ahead of them. Hopefully, I'm expecting Bowen to score a lot of goals. Joelinton is obviously one of Newcastle's top guys. He hasn't shined that much this season yet, but I think Bournemouth is the time he's going to shine. Odegaard, no, obviously no one can comment on him. He's a great player. Kulusevski, it's my first time I bought him in this week with Kane. But I had no choice because obviously a few of my players aren't playing. I played my free hit in order to make this team happen. I got Concello in defense as usual, and I bought in Diaz and Mings. Mings is not, last season he scored a lot of goals, and I think he hasn't scored any goals this season. And I think Southampton is going to be the first game he scores his goal. They're playing at home, and he's a defender that scores. But I'm putting my money on Concello that he'll probably score this week.
It's not
Wolves.
Concello, it's Concilio.
Concilio.
Yeah, so Concello will be scoring this week. On subs, I bought in Hodgberg as well in a free hit.
Does anyone else, when they're watching Tottenham play, hear the commentator say Hoyvier with a V?
Yeah, he does say Hoyvier, but obviously he can't read.
He says it with a V. I hear a V. For like the whole season, season, I thought it was Hoyvier, like French, like Hoyvier. Hoyvier.
That's what they always call him. Yeah.
Either way, I hope and I look forward to this team getting a minimum of 80 points this week. I'm very, very confident that's going to happen.
Maybe we can comment about this week with the games being postponed last week. If you used your wild card and your free hit the previous week, obviously it rolls over to this week, but the Fantasy Premier League hasn't done any favors. I'd used my wild card the week before, and just checking this week, they're not going to allow you to use another one with the games that were postponed. So
I think all three of you have used your wild cards, haven't you?
All three of us, except for me.
Normally, I would say after weeks 3 and 4 would be a reasonable time to use that wild card because that's when who's who in the Premier League after like 4-5 weeks, and that's when I use mine. These are the kind of matches where you have to use a chip. So the free hit, I'm not going to play with five players in the game week. So I'd advise people out playing this game. Yeah, you're not going to lose anything on using a free hit at this moment in time. I think it's a perfect occasion to use a free hit, actually. Perfect. Yeah. I've used mine.
So should we have a look at your team then?
Yeah. There's some strikers where you might put them on the bench because they're playing a good team, but Haaland isn't one of them. There's certain strikers which you can leave on the pitch no matter who they're playing. Bring them on. It could be Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Man City. You will still play that striker. And one of them strikers is Harry Kane. And one of them strikers is Haaland. So I've got two of them strikers in my team, which I can play against anyone. But Kane is playing Leicester. So obviously that's an easy fixture for Tottenham. I'm saying that because Leicester are pretty much bottom of the league. And they don't look like they're going to be going anywhere very fast, I must say, after watching them. I probably think Leicester's one of the worst teams in the league this season, to tell you the truth, after watching them. And look who I bought in. I bought in Dyer again. One of my original defenders. Oh, yeah. Remember I changed him for Doherty? Remember when
I thought you changed him for Saliba.
No. Do you remember when on the first match week when I had that voice inside my hand saying, "Take out Dyer, put in Doherty. Doherty will score." And remember when I changed it to Doherty? Remember that?
Yeah, I
And then
remember.
Doherty
And then you
played for 1
transferred him
minute.
out, and then Dyer
Yeah.
scored. He scored
I
against
took out
Southampton.
Dyer, put in Doherty. Dyer scored. Doherty played for 1 minute, and that was like one of the worst things I've done.
Are you captaining De Bruyne to be a differential, or
You knew that, didn't you?
what?
You knew that. You knew that. This season, guys, De Bruyne is a differential. If you have a look at De Bruyne, what percentage owns in rock and roll, and then we can you can see what I'm talking.
26.9%.
That's quite a lot now, 26.9%. And now look at Haaland.
What,
Now look at
Haaland's
Haaland.
like
95%.
still not as
Oh,
still not as high as
79.5%. That makes De Bruyne a differential. Even Harry Kane is a differential this season. If you look at how many people own Harry Kane, I mean,
wow.
you would
70.3.
expect him to be about 50 to 40%, even 30%. He's a differential. I can't believe it. So I'm happily sitting here with players like Kane and De Bruyne in my team as differentials, and I have a lot of faith and visions of glory at the moment.
I think your team is very good, but I think the person that's probably going to lose you points unless he scores is going to be Saliba. Brentford at home are monsters.
Yes, no, that's very dangerous. But as you know,
monsters.
The weekend isn't here yet, so I have time to change that. And you see on the bench who I have. I have
Suchek. I can't believe you haven't put him on in place of Saliba.
Yes, he might, probably will. Thanks, Oscar, because maybe you're the deciding factor for me to be able to do that now.
Yeah, I've made that switch.
Suchek, yeah. I think there's one player in West Ham which hasn't got to play much yet because they brought him in. I think I didn't want to risk it because I wasn't sure if they'll give him much game time because he's new.
Paqueta.
But when he gets used to it, Paqueta.
Paqueta, yeah.
Paqueta, he's a very good player. I think once he starts playing more, he's going to be one of the top guys up there. He's going to be one everyone's going for.
Shall we have a look at your screen, Nunes theory? Your team, sorry?
You could do, but it looks like at the moment, half my team, being that 1/4 of my team was Liverpool, 1/4 of my team was Chelsea.
Most of your team is postponed.
Wow.
Basically. Wow. I'm not going to use my wild card. I'm going to save it for when I really need it.
Right.
And I'm going to play with 5 players this week.
I think you really need it now.
So you're giving me pole position for us 4 managers. You're literally handing over the pole position to me. You're moving out of the way so I can overtake you.
This is going to be the point where I prove that I'm the best manager here. With 5 players, I'm going to get a top score better than all of you.
Wow. The gauntlet has been thrown.
And also, I'm absolutely bullshitting all of you. I will be using my wild card, but I'll be waiting towards the end of the week.
No, come on.
But I'm actually very surprised that at the moment, I don't know what CEO's done, that no one actually has picked up on a new player. Well, actually, Diego Costa is one of them. But the other one, I don't know if you guys saw him against Liverpool, looked very impressive, very calm on the ball, very cool, good finisher. You can tell, like he knows where he's placing it. Isak.
Yes. And
he's
on my watch list.
He's against Bournemouth this weekend, and I think for me he's going to be one of them players that I'm going to bring in this week, hopefully. By the end of the week.
I can still buy him. I can still buy him. I'm going to copy you.
CEO is very quiet. I think he's bought Isaac.
No, I'll tell you who I bought. I can tell you who I bought. Actually, what I was thinking was, when I saw Sparky's team was, if we had spin the wheel this week, we could have made him play a bench boost as well. But
when you get these forfeits, there's ways around them as well. You got to think after you get it. Like
there
there's
was
ways to
no
get
way around that forfeit if it had been he's played his wild card already. Because you already played his free hit, which is why I can't play that. Well, with all the games being postponed this week, I have a lot, like Sparky, I've got a lot of players that are not going to be playing. And I didn't want to, I've already played my wild card and I'm not using my chip this week. I'm waiting for the double game weeks to play that. The main player I bought in was Bunny Mitrovic. I copied your
Why?
Mitrovic. I copied your Nunes.
Why are you copying my? You watch. If I ever spin the wheel, I'm getting rid of Mitrovic. It's mine, bro. I get to keep him.
I
Anyway,
may get rid of him
you
again
can
this week.
borrow
I
him
had
for
to
the
get
week.
rid of Bamford, brought Mitrovic in. That's another thing I'm looking at, the squad value as well. Some of these players are going down in price, so catch them while they're going up and then sell them. And then I think the signing you made with Souček, Van Duzel, the man, he's the man.
Yep,
You said.
yep.
Yeah, he could
He's
go
the
back up
guy.
in price.
He's that guy.
He's that guy.
Souček is that guy.
Yeah. So I
Are
didn't
you,
have
are you going to be? Are you going to be using your free hit?
No, that's why I just made one transfer. I'm not going to be using the free hit. I'm going to be using that in double game week.
You're going to be easy. You're going to be an easy target this
Right.
week.
Okay. I mean, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't use your free hit or any advantage you can gain on a games week like this, because this is like I was saying, it's the perfect time.
There's
to
only
use one
7
of those
games.
streams.
Which games are going to be the only game that I can see being a major point scorer is well, 2 potentially is Arsenal Brentford and Mitrovic against Forest. So with the other
Really?
games, it's difficult to like Manchester City, obviously, but I don't buy Manchester City players, as we've already said.
You don't think that Villa are capable of putting 3 or 4 past Southampton?
No, absolutely not. Well, they are
Tottenham-
capable. They are capable.
Tottenham are
Southampton.
capable of putting 5 or 6 against Leicester.
No, I doubt. I mean, I'm looking through those fixtures. The big scoring games I can see potentially. Oh, again, Spurs, Leicester, like you already mentioned.
Just about
and I've got
every
my
single
Spurs
one of
players.
them are big scoring games.
I've got my Spurs players.
I'm going to agree with Oscar on that. I mean, again, going back to the Newcastle game, Newcastle Bournemouth.
Yes,
Yeah,
Newcastle,
definitely.
Bournemouth. That's
100%.
potentially like a 4-4.
I think there's going to be like
4-2 or
5 goals in
4-1 or
that game.
something,
No,
yeah.
player wise, which player?
Isak.
It's like I
Isak.
can. I
No,
didn't.
wait, shh, no.
Joe Linton.
No,
Fabian Schär.
out of all the players available, you're missing the point. I'm not going to play my free hit. I'm not going to do that. Not this week. So I'm making one
Fine.
transfer because I don't want to lose a -4. Which transfer do I make?
You know what? I'm not gonna complain because it just makes my life easier to catch you up.
Yeah, I
We'll-
mean, this
we'll
is a
see next
race.
week. We'll
Yeah,
see next week.
This is a competition.
So that's my team for this week.
You've captained Mitrovic. So
Yeah.
what percentage of people own Mitrovic now? Because he's become quite a popular guy, hasn't he? Wow.
26.8.
You see, Mitrovic is as maybe a little more popular than Kevin De Bruyne. at the
And
moment.
Kane. It's almost as
And Kane.
popular as Kane.
Yeah. So this season, it's definitely not about how much the player is. It's definitely we've got some more of the underdogs succeeding this season. Yeah, it's a very different season. It's a very, very different to the last few seasons. Rock and Roll CEO's best player for this season, I think, is Sessegnon. He always looks like he's going to be dangerous. Sessegnon.
He is. Yeah, he's a
I
surprise
think
player.
he might get a clean sheet, an assist, or a goal or something. I'm looking at Rock and Roll's team and seeing double figures on Sessegnon here out of all these guys.
Potentially, I could risk him being the captain this week because Spurs played a Champions League game this week and lost to Sporting Lisbon. And I can't remember if Sessegnon played. I don't think he did. He would have played Perisic in that. I'll have to check. I haven't checked yet. But so if that's the case, then I'm assuming Sessegnon will start on Saturday, is it?
Yeah, I don't think Arsenal are that brittle. I think they have a strong enough team to beat Brentford at Brentford's own ground. If Arsenal do lose, you got to remember they're in pole position at the moment. The moment they lose, they're handing over the baton to Man City. So, you know, they've got a lot to play for Arsenal. So I hope they keep their nerve and I hope they beat Brentford. I have Odegaard in my team. I transferred out Jesus for my free hit. But obviously, it's just a free hit, and he'll be coming back in next week. And I have Saliba.
Yep. Talking of Arsenal, that's an interesting one because losing at Manchester United when probably should have won that offside goal. Not the offside goal. It wasn't an offside goal. It was the foul that was given against Eriksen, which, let's face it, would not have been given had it been the other way. That would have changed. We could have affected the result. I thought Arsenal were the better team for most of the game, and I'm sure they wanted to get back on the bike, so to speak, last week to go again. Now it's got a 2-week gap, and they're playing a European game this week as well, obviously. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get back on the saddle against Brentford, who are going to be up for
Not
it.
an easy task. Possibly 1-1, 2-2, possibly, I would guess.
Yeah, I think Arsenal should be happy with a draw at Brentford.
I think Arsenal are worthy of pulling off like a 3-2 or 3-1 or 2-1 even. A little result, 1-0. Not 1-0. I don't want it to be 1-0. 2-1. Arsenal.
I think Brentford are going to win. As simple as that. I think
Okay,
they'll blast
definitely,
them out of the water.
definitely.
3-0, 3-1, something like that.
Yeah, Brentford are going to be on fire. I promise you they will be. And
I'm going for 2-2.
In fact, I'll bet you 50p
2-2
on it.
sounds right.
Stop
2-2
changing
sounds
the
right,
results.
yeah.
You've already said.
2-2
But
sounds
I will say this: if Arsenal do put in an impressive display and get all 3 points, that will be a marker, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with Sparky. I think it's going to be something like 2-2. And you guys think Arsenal are going to get beaten. So what do you guys think watching the show? What do you think about Arsenal going to Brentford? Do you think Arsenal will beat them or do you think Brentford will turn them over? Write down in the comments. And if you like our show, please subscribe. And it would be great if you press the thumbs up icon as well. And we would really
Definitely.
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And just a word on our episodes. We're going twice weekly now, but obviously things that have happened are affecting our schedule as well, with the matches being postponed. But our next episode will be on Monday evening, should drop on Monday. Follow us on Twitter to track that. Follow us all on Twitter and follow us on Top4FPL. And the next game week after that will be a Nations League game week. So again, there'll be no games that week. If we can fit in some content for that week, we will. But I believe we're not going to be having Bunny with us.
Yeah, I'm
Ooh.
going to Mallorca. I'm going to hop to
Wow.
Mallorca. I'm
Brilliant.
going to Mallorca. Good.
Well, yeah. So
Yeah, sorry,
Oscar's
man. I'm not
gonna-
here next week. I'm going to miss you
Great.
guys.
Yeah, we're going to miss you too, Oscar, but we'll still be doing the show. So while Oscar Bunny's off in Mallorca getting a buntan, and Southampton will be kicking off at Villa, and Fulham will be kicking off at Forest, a Friday night, 8 o'clock. And we'll see you at the next show, Top 4 FPL.
See you later.